Welcome to the Title IX podcast and the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. Our entire podcast network is fueled by Cody Road. Alisa and I are here in the Wild Rose Casino and Resort Studio. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
It's episode 110.
110, good number.
It is a good number. Feels like a nice, round, solid number.
Yeah.
We, of course, at Title IX are presented by the Ivy College of Business at Iowa State. And Alisa, I got a picture from Matt Van Winkle of an owl the other day that he took on camp. Did he send it to you too?
No, didn't he post it?
He did post it, but he sent it as a text to me and it just said, hootie hoo.
Love it.
So we have our hootie hoos on campus.
Oh, I think I have a DM from him.
So maybe he did respond or send it to you after all.
Because we were talking about something different. And then I just don't check my DMs. He did not.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you sent it to me. Hootie hoo. From our friends at the Ivy College of Business at Iowa State. Also, do you know who is an Ivy College student?
Your mama lich.
Oh, so close. Milan Momcilovic.
Wait, is that right?
Yeah, that was right.
Let's go.
I've been practicing it all day. Milan Momcilovic. The announcer, so we're recording Tuesday. The announcer struggled.
They did, yeah.
I think I heard 73 pronunciations of it. Not sure a single one of them was right. But dang, he played well, huh?
He did play well. And we were workshopping like a nickname for him.
I saw this.
Yeah.
Did you ever land on one?
I think we're leaning towards something with like Millie.
Why don't we just call him Eminem?
Yeah.
It's there. It's like right there for the taking. He doesn't look much like an Eminem, though, does he? Well, he had 183 points last night off of 47 three-pointers.
At first, I was like, yes, 183. And then I was like, is this going to be percent? Oh, okay.
So shout out to Milan, who is our Ivy College of Business student spotlight. I just made that up.
What the hell?
Student of the week. Oh,
I'm here every week. Haven't gotten a single shout out.
Ooh.
Well, I guess we have next week's.
We'll slide you in next time, Aiden. Sorry, buddy. So it's basketball season. Came right up here, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
It really
it's November.
snuck up.
I don't even know what day it is in November.
I think it's the 7th. Yeah, it's voting election day.
Yep.
And yeah, vote for your local elections. If you're listening to this, you're out of time.
It's too late. It's too late.
But I really feel like basketball season snuck up on us.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this in years past. That's because football season tends to be more intriguing and relevant than years past, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk basketball or football first?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably football.
Okay, let's talk football
so we
first.
can be happy.
What? I don't know that that's going to be the case.
But at the end.
Oh, like bad news first.
Yes.
Bad news end with good news.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, we all watched the game. At this point, it's just old news. So I will just give you my winner and loser from the football game. Mm-hmm. Winner is Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
That was
good winner.
Truly the loudest ovation I've ever heard at Jack Trice Stadium.
That's cool.
It was one of those goosebump-inducing moments. Yeah. And it was just cool to see him get a little bit overcome with emotion himself. He seems like a very low-key guy. So to see him get choked up made me choke up a little bit. But just really happy for him and happy that we welcome him back with open arms like we do.
Definitely. And I think it's cool too. Like he has a bye week and comes back to us. Yeah. That's cool.
It's really cool. I hope that relationship continues regardless of what his NFL career pans out to be. He was one of those players where I think maybe when we were in it, we recognized how good he was, but maybe not quite how special he was, which is, that's easy to do when you're in the middle of it.
We saw glimmers and I think that, he was in a tough situation.
And the team didn't necessarily pan out to what we expected, which is not, I mean, obviously he's the quarterback, partly his fault, but that's part of the reason I don't think we realized it till he was gone.
Yeah. And he's also a couple years older, couple years wiser.
Yeah, that's true. So that was my winner. Second winner, this is not Cyclone related, but it's football related.
Okay.
Maya Turner became the first woman to play in a university sports football game in Canada. And not only was it her first game, but she also happened to score the game-winning field goal for the Bison, her university up in Canada.
Love it.
In his post-game speech, her coach really went down what it means to be a woman in a male-dominated sport. He talked about what her journey must have been like and told his players that she had a tougher job than any of them ever would, and that she faces a stigma that because she's a woman, if she would have missed, it would have been, oh, it's because she's a girl.
Yeah.
She doesn't belong here. He looked his players in the eye and said, you will never experience anything like that. She has it tougher than you. And remember that when you deal with the women in your life. So it was just one of those, all right, this guy gets it moments. And so proud of Maya. She was my other football winner of the week.
I love that. My winner. So this is kind of like an abstract, like feeling winner. But
Alisa's in her feels.
I know. So you know how we feel at the end of a season where we're rewarded with a bowl game.
Yes.
And we all get excited about the bowl game, where it's going to be. People take the day off to watch the game.
We make
get together with
snacks.
friends. We make snacks. It's a big deal. I feel like we sort of captured that. We kind of had that little bit of like lightning in a bottle feeling leading up to the game this weekend, the Kansas game this weekend. I feel like it just felt a little bit different. People were talking about it a little bit more.
You're right.
In more of like an optimistic, like opportunistic way. It just kind of felt like it wasn't just another conference game, which it wasn't another conference game. It was a big game, but it just felt a little elevated from, okay, we're two possible, first place teams playing each other to possibly take over first place, and
that's a great point.
I don't know. It was just kind of cool, and unfortunately got shit on, but sorry, Aiden.
Just like that, it ended. The optimism went out the window.
It was sport, but we just had that like big game energy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I don't think I fully appreciated. I mean, I felt it personally, but I think you're right. I don't necessarily think I realized that until we all got there.
Yeah.
And that place, Jack Trice was ready to explode.
Yeah.
And then it didn't.
So my husband went to the game. I didn't go to the game. I just stayed home with the kids, kind of drew the short straw. We've been asking our parents for a lot lately. And
so you kind of know when to stop.
Yeah. And he had gotten tickets from work and just the one for him. And so it was like, let's just like take the L here. So watched it from home, most of it, turned it off when I got mad, which is my favorite part of watching it at home.
Is you can just walk away.
I can walk away and just tune it out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So
is your loser the way that optimism just
kind of
disappeared?
So my loser is the refs for some of those calls.
Same.
Some of those calls.
I really want to talk about this.
And I know that people, they're going to get their panties in a wad about this. I know, I get it. But they blew any momentum that we had in that first half with some of those blown calls. And I understand that, like, oh, you have to overcome the refs. But they were huge calls.
Yes.
And even where they said that it was a fumble instead of incomplete pass.
This is the one I cannot stop thinking about.
It just blew the momentum that we had. Let's stop and review, take a couple commercial breaks. And it just was like da-dum, da-dum. And it just felt like they killed any momentum that we had. And it's so hard for me to swallow that. And to just like let that go. And yes, we made mistakes, the coaches, the players that ultimately cost the game. But oh God, please stay out of my DMs, people. Yes, they're 10-year vets. Like, these are seasoned refs, but we all have bad games. And it just kind of sucks balls when it's against us that the refs have a bad game.
It was just a couple of things. Everything you said, yes, I agree about the momentum. We've seen bad calls before.
Yeah.
That was just a series of bad calls upon bad calls upon bad calls. It was like they couldn't get out of their own damn way.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most bizarrely officiated games I've ever seen. And the fumble it was actually an incomplete pass. I know everyone's mad about the sideline. I get it. I'm obviously mad about that too. But that call where they called a fumble and it was actually, that was the worst call I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There was nothing about that play that looked like a fumble.
Yeah.
It was, I cannot explain it. I've watched it 50 times. I don't know how they got there. And that was the one I was like, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've lost control.
Well, and with that sort of a call, so you say you call, you don't know what it is for sure. Somebody was standing in your way, you couldn't see. So you call it a fumble and you just kind of let things play out. And then you go back and fix it. Why didn't you afford that same
Yeah, I don't know.
thing
To the
situation?
just trash.
Okay, so I have a couple of thoughts.
Okay.
That I've aired my grievances on Twitter and been told pretty much like, you're dumb.
Oh, I can't wait to tell you you're dumb again.
So first of all,
Wait, are we done with the officials?
no, this is the same situation.
Okay, because I have one last thought.
So if they called the play dead at the 30 whatever yard line, then wouldn't him being hit at the goal line be him being
After the play, like
hit after the play?
unnecessary roughness?
Right.
Yeah, you would think so.
Would it not be?
I assume that they've said, well, he didn't hear the whistle, which is like, okay.
Okay, one time I was on a volleyball game.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
One
saying.
time I was playing a volleyball game, indoor volleyball, co-ed volleyball, and we spike the ball. It hits a girl. She reaches her arm out. It hits her arm. It flies off. And they said, out. And we said, no, it's not out. It hit her arm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she didn't mean to. She didn't.
Was this the same officiating crew?
Yes.
I thought so.
Basically, like, the up ref was like, well, she didn't mean to. And we were like, are you freaking kidding me?
Right. That's not how this works.
That's not how this works.
It's either one or the other.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, and if you're going to
Like pick a lane.
Right. And why are you letting our dude get hit down there if you're calling it dead over here? How dare you?
Yeah.
My other question is, so I've watched it multiple times, and there's a place where the defense slides kind of under his feet and he steps on them a little bit. The defense is touching out of bounds. Does the lightning go through? But this is a serious question, though.
I don't think that's what. So the crew the Big 12 spoke to the crew who said he called it dead at the 31 or whatever. He thought he stepped out of bounds.
Okay.
So I think that's the explanation.
Okay. Well,
it's not a good one.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
It was so bad that my 8-year-old, who she gets intense, but I've never heard her be so pissed about anything, is still talking about the official.
Yeah.
Like last night, I picked her up from dance and she's still on it. So this is like, I get it. It's not the reason why we lost.
Right.
But get out of here.
Right. And I'm just saying, like, if you like blow a play, if you blow a play dead,
Yes.
and you just let everything keep playing out, and
Like,
say,
what's the purpose
say he
of
gets
that?
injured,
Right.
that's on you. Why didn't you blow your little whistle louder?
I agree.
Why didn't you wave your little arms?
I just hated
bigger?
all of it. I was so angry. Just bad vibes.
Super bad vibes.
I just want to redo. Mulligan.
We'll get one someday. But yes, okay. What else do you have to say about the refs?
No, that's really it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just be done with
Okay.
it. We're putting it to bed
Yep.
once and for all.
Fact it in.
You big losers, that crew.
Don't
Come back to Ames.
I don't want to talk about this on Twitter, people. Please.
Just don't slide into our DMs.
Please
Okay,
don't.
let's get to the good news. That was the bad news.
Okay.
Good news. Basketball.
Hey, we're winners.
I don't have a lot of analysis from that men's basketball game. We just throttled them.
Yeah.
And it was fun to see some scoring. And not just any scoring. I feel like fairly efficient scoring.
Yes.
And I know you were impressed with Big Rob.
I was impressed. I will say, and people are like, well, I wouldn't want him on the line for a 2-2 with the game. Okay, I'm not
That's not
saying,
the point.
I didn't say that he's 100 now. I said that he was at 50 and he's now at 75.
Which with him, all you can ask for Big Rob is be consistent enough to make a bunny.
Yes.
And if you do more, do more.
I just don't want him to be a liability
Totally agree.
on the court.
Yes. Yes.
With layups.
Yes.
And he not only made bunnies, but he made some shots where Arnold and I were both like, pass it out, pass it out. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same.
Like, and had it been, okay, I hate this. I hate that people are comparing him to Niang. But are they comparing him or your mom's a fish? To Niang. I don't know.
Your mom's a fish.
Your mom's a fish.
Mom Silovich? Nailed it.
Your mom's a fish.
Wait, what did John Walters say? Hold on. He said,
I know.
This was a good one. He said, Mom, chill on the beach or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Here's
good.
the thing is that people say my name wrong all the time and I don't care.
I know, but we care.
I know. And so I need to
Care for
learn
other
to say it correctly.
But maybe this can be your shtick for the season.
I
Just
know.
Every episode, it's a new way to
I know.
pronounce it.
No, it's like that what is that skit from?
Key
I'm
and
looking
Peele?
at Jacqueline because she knows. Jacqueline's in here. Hey girl. Is it from Key and Peele? Where they say Jaqueline?
Aaron?
Because
Yeah.
I call her Jaqueline in my mind, and then I'm like, don't say that out loud.
Yeah.
D Nice. My mom's Denise. D Nice. Aaron. Yeah.
Aaron. Yeah. That's a great skit.
Yeah. So anyway, I just there are places where Big Rob, are we gonna call him that?
Yeah, we're calling him that.
Okay, I have so many thoughts because now
One
we
at
have
a time.
now
One
we
at a
have
time.
But now we have a fish, and I feel like we can't call him Big Fish.
We're not calling. No one's
but
calling
I
him
want
Big
to
Fish.
call him Big Fish.
No one's.
Why?
No,
He's a big boy.
no. That's bad. Big Rob. He was here first.
Big Fish. Okay. Anyway.
Yep. Pull it back together. Big Rob. You were impressed.
Big Rob. I just think that there were some moves that I was impressed by.
I do too.
And there were some situations where I was like, if that was somebody else, I would tell you to shoot. But because it's you, I'm telling you pass it out. Then he shoots and he makes it. He makes a good move. And from everything that I understand, he works extremely hard.
Yes.
And he wants to be successful on this team. And he loves this team. And he loves Iowa State. And that just like makes me love him so much.
Agreed. And if you paid any attention to Otts at all in the last few years, you know that that's what those teams feed off of is the
Yes.
energy and the commitment and giving everything to the team.
Yes.
So
I'm
here
very
for it.
excited about
I
this
am
team.
too. The hype train is rolling.
I know that we played a bad team,
Of course
but
we did.
in the past we have played down to their level.
I agree. Take care of business where
Yep.
the teams you're supposed to take care of business against.
And I feel like coming into this game, it was like, well, we don't have to play such lockdown defense because offensively we're better. And then we come in and play great defense.
Freaking love it. It's like all of the
It's
pieces that have
smothering.
been missing
Yeah.
and we've had to overcompensate with bad defense are
Yes.
there, but we're still good defense. We're still overcompensating with good
Yes.
defense. I'm here for it.
Yes.
I'm here for it. It's going to be fun.
Those are my thoughts.
I agree with all of those, and I'm excited for the ride.
I am so excited.
And women's basketball also took care of business.
Yes.
They had that 11 o'clock field trip game, which is always a hoot to listen to because you can hear screaming children in the background for the entirety of the game.
Yes. So here's the thing. When I used to work at the event center, we would always say the school day games, the kids don't know who to cheer for. So they just cheer
And
for
they also don't
everything.
care. They're there for the
Just
event of it.
Everything.
Yes. Yeah. So it was 11 o'clock. If anyone was wondering why it tipped that early, that's why. They do it every year. It was a close game at half, 6-point lead, and then Iowa State just took off. It ended up being a very classic Iowa State victory, 50% from the field, 42.5% from three-pointer. Naidu was the star, which is great to see. She had almost double-double, 19 and 9. I think the takeaway, probably in addition to Nai just taking over, was Nadabu, the transfer from Sacramento State also had a really solid game, 14 points. And then we had a couple freshmen in double digits as well, Kelsey Jones and Addie Brown. So I guess that's probably what I expected to see.
Yeah.
But the truth is, without Emily Ryan in the lineup, we're going to have to rely a lot on these freshmen. And so we're probably going to lose some games that we expect to win.
Yeah.
And I just think that is going to be a little bit harder to get used to after the last few seasons. But it's just like our perspective is going to have to shift a little bit.
Having another Jones girl,
Yeah,
it's cool.
it is. It's hard to not just immediately revert to saying Ashley.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Kelsey. I know I'll do that.
But we were excited about her to start with.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see her playing well.
The question mark is, of course, Emily Ryan.
Yeah.
And no one knows anything, which is concerning and frustrating as a fan. But I think we're just going to have to operate like she's not coming back. And then when I'm not saying she's not,
right.
But we don't know. So when she
Right.
does come back, it will be a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. We play Drake on Sunday at the Knapp Center, and that's not going to be an easy road either. So, games, like I said, that we expect to kind of go in and dominate are not going to be that. So, yeah, just be patient. And I'm telling that to myself, not to you.
Yeah. No, it's just cool to hear some of those names that we thought would play well, playing well.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then for Nye to step up and be the leader that we said that if Emily's not there, then Nye is going to have to step up. And she did that phenomenally. She's during the off season, I think really like blossomed as a personality. Yes.
Jinx.
We are losers.
But I think that's so true.
Yeah.
She's taken on, I think she saw that she had to be a co-leader, if not the leader. And she has let some of her color shine through.
Yeah.
And she's not just a robot on the court. She is out there making a name for herself and, for her personality as well.
Yeah. And she's taken on, I think, a real like business mindset.
Yes.
When it comes to not only like a lot of the opportunities that she took with like NIL stuff during the off season, but also just like the way that she's attacking the season as well. Cool to see.
It's super cool to see. I'm excited for her. So fingers crossed we can get Emily back and we can slowly but surely bring some of those freshmen into the rotation.
Yeah.
Volleyball, we've kind of kept up on volleyball. They swept TCU on Saturday. My only note from that was that they were showing the match in Jack Trace Stadium while it was going. That was pretty cool to see. That doesn't happen very often. But they return home to host number 14 Kansas this weekend. Like you said, the Big 12 is a gauntlet.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep an eye on them and hope that they can head off into the postseason on a high note.
Yep.
Do you want to take a quick break and then get into the other business, or do you have any more Iowa State related?
I think that's about it.
Okay, let's take a quick break. First, we want to give a shout out to our friend Hope Wood, hopewoodjd.com. She does a Will in the Day program. I had a friend tell me today that they were thinking about a will and that hopewoodjd.com popped into their head, and that made me feel good. Use the code FANATIC for $50 off. We love Hope. She's a Cyclone loyal listener, loyal contributor to Cyclone Fanatic. So go use her if you can.
Yeah.
All right. I think we need to have a slight airing of a grievance that we both share, Alisa.
What is it?
This relates to that school out east,
Okay.
specifically with their interim AD, Beth Goetz.
Okay. Yes.
So she fires Brian Ferentz.
Yes.
And suddenly I start seeing things pop up on Twitter that Beth doesn't know anything about football.
Right.
And you and I both reacted to this because literally in our entire sports year, all the years of sports fandom,
Yeah.
I don't think either of us have ever heard anyone say about a male AD, well, what do they know about football?
Right.
Not once.
Right.
Now you can question their decisions when it comes to hiring coaches, firing coaches, all of that. Fine. But I've not heard anyone say about a male AD, well, what do they know about football?
Yeah.
Why do you think they said that, Alisa?
Oh, maybe it's because, gosh, where she grew up could have been like some
Where
some
she went
family
to school.
stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been.
Could have been. Just really pisses me off. Like you, also, if you are listening to this podcast and you are one of the people who says that, like you're outing yourself.
Here's the thing is that I have this is going to be a really hard pill to swallow. Your boss can know nothing about what you do and still can you.
Yeah. And be completely justified in doing so because they understand like the whole environment and the world in which you work.
Right.
Like, you don't have to be an expert in football to understand that Brian Ferentz needs to be fired.
Yep. And you know who should have fired him?
Well, yeah.
His
Everyone
daddy.
before Kirk. Yeah. Right.
But he can't because of the structure of the way things are set up.
And he wouldn't have done it anyway.
No, he wouldn't have.
It's just such a stupid.
Yeah. And also, I think that it is funny because people are like, well, she never played football. And then when you Google her, it says American football player. And I'm sure that at some point they like Googled her and they were like, oh, shit. And then they're like, oh, that's not football.
That's soccer.
That's
the one you play with your
soccer.
feet.
That's soccer, guys. That's Europe.
Oh,
That's
speaking
not
of
us.
soccer,
Yeah.
I have some news for you.
Tell me.
Do you remember the whole Luis Rubiales saga?
Yeah.
He was the president of Spain's Football Federation. He resigned.
Yeah.
After the whole scandal where he kissed a player without her consent during the celebration. You know, that whole thing. FIFA has banned him from all football-related activities for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was actually a little surprised by that because FIFA tends not to do the right thing. So it was good to see him do the right thing. The bummer of this is Jenny Hermoso was the player he kissed during the celebration. She spoke to GQ in her first public interview after that whole saga unfolded. And she's admitted that she's been getting psychological counseling, which good for her.
Yeah.
Like, good for her. But she started receiving death threats.
Of course she did. Because people are so stupid.
So I thought of you when I read this quote. She said, I've had to suffer the consequences of an act that I did not provoke, that I did not choose, and that was not premeditated. I've received threats, and this is something you never get used to. And I thought of you because when we first talked about that story, you said she's going to be the one facing the backlash for something she didn't ask for, didn't invite, didn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it happened.
That's what happens when people stand up for what's right, is that the people who want the wrongs that have benefited them for so many years to continue, then they get mad.
Yep.
What do you mean I can't have things the way that I've had them just because it hurts you? What do you mean?
Right.
Doesn't the world revolve around me?
Right.
And my wants and needs?
That's exactly what happened.
Not even needs.
Just wants.
Just wants.
The good news is that she has been adamant that she doesn't want to quit, that she's not walking away, that she's going to battle through all of these, all the psychological issues that she's facing, and that she wants to use this as a way to continually move ahead with societal change. So, go get them, Jenny.
Yeah.
Also in the soccer world, the NWSL semifinals took place over the weekend. It's the finals are going to be San Diego versus Gotham. 32,000 people were in San Diego on Sunday night. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the semifinals. So it's the OL Reign beat San Diego. So it's the OL Reign versus Gotham. Megan Rapinoe plays for San Diego. Sorry, the Reign. And she's going to play Gotham, Allie Krieger. So you have two people who are going out of their careers.
Yeah.
And they're playing in the championship game for the NWSL, and one of them's going to leave a champion.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so cool.
I
Like,
know.
it's poetic in the best way.
I did see, where did I see this? I wish that I knew exactly where I saw this so I could read it for sure. But somebody said, and I think they were being serious, that Nike submitted the 2023 NWSL season for best drama to the Golden Globes. Isn't that hilarious?
It's a really good joke.
But I think that they
good
may
for
have
them.
actually
That's
done
fantastic.
that. Yeah. Because it was the gist says it's confirmed. So I
Oh my God.
assume that means.
It's been dramatic in so many different ways.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't understand jokes though. So maybe.
Well, that's a good one. So the finals are Sunday. 7 p.m. It's on CBS, like the main CBS, which was big news when that broke earlier in the season. So that's very exciting. I'll be watching. Hopefully they continue to break more viewership and attendance records at that. But yeah, it's been a dramatic season for sure.
Yeah.
Aiden really wanted us to talk about this next story. Aiden, are you ready?
I think this is like one of the coolest stories in sports right now.
Now tuning in, Aiden.
We actually talked about this as it unfolded. Alisa, I don't know if you remember it, but after last year's field hockey season, North Carolina player Erin Matson, she goes out as the most decorated field hockey player in UNC history. Her coach retires. Erin walks into the athletic director's office and says, "I would like to be the head coach." Okay, you're like 20 years old, but cool.
Yeah.
Well, they gave it to her.
Yeah.
So she got the job. She's now 23 years old, the youngest coach in the NCAA. In her first year, she's led UNC to a #1 ranking, and they just won the ACC.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this. Think of how awkward that must be for her to go into a team where she's now the coach of her former teammates.
Yeah.
She's their age.
Yeah.
She's probably knows all sorts of crazy personal stuff about them, and just figuring out those barriers and boundaries and how to make sure all of that works on top of just coaching.
Yeah. I think that
So
oftentimes players are just given the benefit of the doubt and put into coaching situations where maybe they wouldn't necessarily succeed.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Steve Nash. But I think Jason Kidd a little bit too. But I think that it takes a unique type of person to be able to also know how to coach. Not all players know how to coach.
Yes.
Most players don't know how to coach.
Yeah. And then when you're coaching your peers on top of it, like I can't get over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's super cool. We'll see what happens with them. But just imagine the guts that it would have taken to walk into your athletic director's office and be like, "Look, you know my coach who just retired, who was like the most successful coach in UNC history? I'd like that job right now."
Yeah.
Like just the guts and the confidence, and it's working out. So
I love it.
Are you happy now, Aiden?
Thrilled. Just out of curiosity, do you think she'll be there until she
Why not?
retires?
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Because, you always hear stories about, a former player comes back to coach her old school. Well, she never really got a break. It was more just one night she was a player, the next morning she kind of just woke up as the coach.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think she hadn't even fully graduated by the time they gave her the job. So I think it was truly like an overnight transition.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine field hockey players are like coaches are wildly compensated. But I bet they are at UNC where you're constantly winning. So I don't know that there is like a grass is greener on the other side. That's probably the greenest it's going to get. We'll see.
Grass is greener where you water it. So write that down.
I have questions.
Oh boy. I wrote it down. You just didn't see me. Per the Women's Sports Foundation, the Sports Innovation Lab completed their 3rd annual fan project report. Would you like to hear the good news?
Yes, please.
83% of brands plan to increase their media investment in women's sports next year.
83.
Would you like to hear the bad news?
Yes.
Currently, brands spend an average of 9% of their sports media budget in women's sports.
Wow.
So good news, going up. Bad news, it continues to be so small. But I think the takeaway from this report was the conclusion was that this lack of investment in women's sports results in a perceived lack of interest and an incorrect estimation of what the media values actually are, which you and I have talked about till our faces are blue, which in turn turns brands away from investing. So it's this horrible chicken or the egg problem.
Yeah.
But as long as it continues to go up, that's a good thing.
I won't stop until it's 100%. No, I won't stop until they only spend 9% on men's. And if you rolled your eyes at that,
think about it. There's a line from Barbie that's very similar to what you just said, but you haven't seen it, so I won't even say it. Like, your lack of interest in movies really bums me out sometimes.
I'm sorry, guys. There is a movie, and it's like the quiz game or something like that maybe I'm gonna go see.
What?
Ali Wong and Oh gosh. Oh gosh. What is her name?
No one knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, she's
Quiz
like,
Lady.
Yeah, the quiz game.
Quiz Lady.
The quiz.
That's the name of the movie.
Quiz lady. I thought you were trying to.
Who's in it?
Ali Wong.
Who else? You were trying to name someone else.
Starts with
Sandra
Selena
Oh.
Gomez.
no.
Sandra Oh.
No, wait. Maybe is Ali Wong in it?
I don't think she is.
Oh my gosh.
Well, maybe there's another movie that Ali Wong is in because I actually really that she's like my favorite comedian.
You're a mess.
No,
Although-
no. Who's the other girl?
Aquafina.
Aquafina.
Oh, I like Aquafina.
I love Aquafina.
I like Aquafina.
Love.
Okay, so Alisa and I were texting this week, and I think, did I make an Uncle Rico reference?
Yes.
And you knew it was from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
Which was impressive because you don't know any references.
Yeah.
But then you told me you've seen all the Pitch Perfect movies.
I have seen all of the Pitch Perfect movies,
which I love, except the third one. It's terrible. 1 and 2 are great. But why the Pitch Perfect movies over literally anything else?
It is possible that I didn't know there was a third movie.
That's fine. It's horrible.
Let me ask Arnold when I get home and see if
If you haven't seen it, it's fine.
Okay. I don't know why those movies.
I love them.
I think that they came out when I didn't have children, and Arnold and I had a little bit of expendable income to go see movies, and he just got excited about seeing movies with me, and so he just kept bringing me to those. I
But
also
there's
saw
two. Like, what I'm saying here is I accept all of those,
Yeah.
but why those?
because I like them. I like the singing.
I do love the singing in those.
I also, here's something about me, not a big movie person, huge soundtrack person.
Okay, I think I did know this.
Huge soundtrack
So that-
person.
It's like the marriage of two things
Yeah.
for you. Okay, I can get behind that.
Clueless soundtrack still slaps.
Do you want to know what you would love? And I'm being completely serious.
The
about
Barbie soundtrack.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
No, Alisa, I'm serious. You get in the car on the drive home and you listen to the Barbie soundtrack.
Here's the other thing is that I can't listen to things from my phone in my car because the jack is
Be
like
nimble.
the headphone jack that hooks up the aux cord
Doesn't work.
doesn't work with my phone.
Okay, go home and listen to it then. Listen to it just off of your phone, not through your car speakers. I just
Okay.
need you to do this.
Here's the other thing though is that my phone
I think you're full of excuses right now, and I don't want to hear them. I just want you to say, okay. I'd be glad to.
Okay. Rolling with my home.
It's a great movie.
It's
and
good.
yeah,
It's a good soundtrack.
It is a good soundtrack.
Okay.
Do you have
I
more
have like
news?
so many things.
Well, tell me some of them.
Okay. So I know that Brent Bloom has this joke where there's only like 100 NBA fans.
I'm not one of them, but you are.
However, first of all, do you know which one I'm going to say first of all?
No.
Halliburton is playing great.
Oh, yes.
Halliburton is playing phenomenally, having one of the best starts to the season, averaging 24 points, 3.7 rebounds, 11 assists. He's 49% from the field, and he is pretty much getting the green light to shoot
Whenever
as
he
much
wants.
as he wants.
And here's how I know he's having a great season. I follow absolutely zero NBA accounts.
Yeah.
None. But I see him everywhere.
The Pacers have found me.
That's good.
And I'm like now, like my algorithm is just
It's
all
all Tyrese?
Pacers. Yes.
I accept.
I love it. But also, Talen Horton-Tucker also having a great season and starting in the
Hey!
Utah Jazz. Yes. In the Utah Jazz's starting five.
Do they call him THT?
I don't know. Should we tell him?
I feel like they should. It's just a
Yeah.
good nickname.
Yeah.
I know we do. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Numbers not huge, but he's the
Solid.
starting point guard for an NBA team.
It's pretty great.
It's incredible. So that's great. And then also another Cyclone doing great things. Anthony Johnson started for the Packers at
This makes
safety.
me so
I know.
happy.
So Rudy Ford, Jonathan Owen, and him have kind of been in there. And he had a really great training camp. And so it was really just a matter of time before he got his opportunity. Ended up having he had an almost pick. I think
It's an official stat in the record book.
in the first half. I think that it ended up being like it wasn't a, I don't know what it was.
Was it a fumble that the officials incorrectly called?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Maybe not as much a pick as like a recovered fumble or something like that. But then he did have a pick, so it was tipped by one of the Packers, and then
I'm just so
caught
happy
it.
for him.
So yeah.
He's one of those, like, you know his story, you have to root for him type of guys.
So I think that he probably will stay in that starting position for a while. It's a really like young team.
They're not very good, are they?
They're not very good.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to figure out who's going to play well. And I think that he showed that he played really well. So there's no reason, once those other guys are feeling a little better to.
It's kind of cool.
out.
I feel like we had a major drought of cyclones in the NBA and NFL for a while, and we've arrived, baby.
Yeah, we have baby.
Baby. Do you want to do red flags and beige flags to
Yeah.
end this out? Okay. So Alisa and I had a conversation because what is a beige flag?
I know. I think I didn't understand what a beige flag
but
was.
it was your.
I know it was my
idea.
idea, but I was confidently wrong.
But this is what I love about you. When you're wrong, you're confidently wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So a beige flag is something that's not good or bad. So it's not a green flag or
Okay.
it just is. And like, you might think it's weird.
Yeah.
But you're kind of like, all right. Like, it
Okay.
doesn't bother me, but it doesn't.
See, that's closer to what I thought it was than what I thought it was last night.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're mostly on the
Okay,
same page?
I think.
All right. My red flag last night, number 1 LSU women's basketball faces off against number 20 Colorado in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Red flag is Kim Mulkey's suit.
Oh,
That
didn't
thing.
like it.
Did you?
I was confused about what everything was
Okay.
on it.
Yeah, if you're
Was
confused
there like a
about
block
what's
of
on
cheese?
it, no. It was okay. Black sequins,
Yeah.
head to toe,
Yeah.
and then these little appliques. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
all over Vegas themed. Like it had dice on them. It had, I think there was a heart on there.
I'm pretty sure I saw like a cheese wedge.
Well, I can't explain that unless there's something about wedges of cheese in Vegas that I don't. But then also, I'm trying to get into the mind of Kim Mulkey, and that's terrifying.
It's
The
Don't go
woman
there.
just like, her clothing is so. And I know
Yeah.
she's doing it at this point to be the story. Like I get it, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, and I feed into it, but I
Yeah.
can't help it.
Yeah.
But that's my red flag.
and shouts to them for scheduling an actual good team.
Yes, but thank God they lost. Yeah, that's my green flag.
Green is that your
That's
green
my
flag?
green flag. Is
That's
LSU
funny.
losing the first game of the
That's
season?
funny.
Oh, injected into my veins.
My flags, I was just very focused still on the football game.
Yeah.
But my red flag was the KU team using our bridge in their winning graphic because
Right.
if there were any landmarks in Lawrence whatsoever, I would give them a pass. But like I Googled Lawrence, Kansas landmarks and Allen Fieldhouse is the first thing that pops up.
course it
So
is.
imagine them putting during a home game the final score on Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah,
Come on, guys.
I know.
Come on.
Also, there are just certain lines you don't cross.
Right.
That's one of them.
And Kansas, like,
Don't touch our bridge.
they just need to sit down because they've been good for like 3 months out of their entire history. So, good God.
Take a seat.
It's still a basketball school. Let's just
Oh,
say
yeah.
that.
They're a long
those guys
ways.
were cocky
Long
MFers.
ways.
But, and then my beige flag. So, this is something that I've been thinking about for a while.
Okay.
Is our undersized quarterbacks. So Arnold said he saw Rocco on campus and he said possibly significantly shorter than his advertised height.
I would not doubt this at all.
So I don't think that's a huge deal.
Well, if Brock Purdy is any
Right.
example, I mean, he's not. You see, like George Kittle, large man.
I mean, Brock Purdy 6 foot.
he's not. But when he's not a small guy,
Right.
But when you compare him to NFL players, he's a
Right.
small guy.
Seneca Wallace, 5'10".
Really?
Yeah. Surprising.
This is a good beige flag.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of the larger quarterbacks are going to go other places, but I think that we attract incredible talent at the quarterback in just a smaller package.
I like this. This
JJ Cole's 9 feet tall.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to bring up the average by himself.
You're right, but he's not playing right now.
JJ Cole could possibly leave us.
Not that we know anything.
Not that I know anything, but I'm just saying.
Alisa wants him to leave solely so this narrative works.
This narrative
we need the narrative to stay.
Aiden, let me have this one thing. I have nothing else in my life. My life is in shambles. I live in a mess. My children are wild. My husband has this new website.
I was
where
scared that you were going to say something else.
No. Yeah, this new wife. Yeah, please. Let him find somebody who will make every meal for him. He's found this website where he can watch every single NBA game. He's now sitting at the dinner table like this. And Rose is, can I watch my tablet? No, you cannot watch our tablet. I'm like, can you put it down and eat your tater tot casserole, honey?
Well,
anyway, so let me have this one thing.
That's a good beige flag.
That's my beige flag.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I'll allow it. My beige flag, this medium polo.
Oh?
It just is. And it is.
Wait, didn't somebody said they thought he got a bigger one this year? Still no.
Absolutely not.
I watched the whole game and I don't think I saw him once during the whole. Is that weird?
No. They were in like a camo shirt yesterday for like salutes. So you didn't
That's
see
why
him.
I didn't see him.
See what I did there?
Exactly. It makes sense. It tracks.
I just think that at this point, this medium, like it is its own.
I feel like that camo joke is going to be underrated. Just like in general, people are going to listen to this podcast and be like, okay, Steph. But that was a good joke, guys.
Coming from the one who said, I don't really understand jokes most of the time.
It's true. It's true. I think that's why I make such outrageous jokes is because the subtle jokes don't hit.
You want to make sure it really hits.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I don't.
Okay, well, this was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
All right. Well, it's going to be a fun next few weeks with the overlap. It's always wild.
It is wild.
It's a lot to consume.
Thank God.
My favorite.
Thank God Arnold has that app on his phone.
My goodness, what would you do
watch
without
everything?
It? That's right. You'll see him in a few months.
Hopefully, you can
when
get
does
the
the
women's
NBA
games
season
on
end
it.
over? Like June or July?
Oh my gosh, NBA has the longest season.
Well, you'll see him midsummer.
I think that they play more games than baseball.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah,
those courts for that in-season tournament in the NBA. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The red. They looked like they were in hell.
Real bad. Coming from a non-NBA fan. All right, that's all I got.
Great.
Go Cyclones.
Go State.